Bonjour à toutes et tous, vous écoutez First Print, votre podcast comics préféré pour une nouvelle émission du format Super Friends. C'est dans ce podcast qu'on va à la rencontre des personnes qui font vivre la pop culture et la culture comics par leur travail. Et c'est la 3e fois que nous avons le plaisir de recevoir dans cette émission Jakub Rebelka, dessinateur maison maintenant de chez 404 Graphiques, après Judas, après le dernier jour de Howard Phillips Lovecraft et après Origine, sort et Lorsque Ma Vengeance S'Abattra sur vous en ce début d'année 2026. Alors d'habitude on le recevait toujours avec les auteurs, mais là on a Jakub en face à face en solo, donc on va pouvoir aussi un petit peu parler simplement de son travail d'artiste avant d'aborder sa dernière publication en VF. Le générique se lance, on se retrouve tout de suite en anglais avec Jakub Rebelka. So hello again and again, Jakub.
Really nice to be here and talking with you. Thank you.
Really? Is it really?
It is. I'm not a very talkative person, but I enjoy that a lot. So.
Okay, so I was just thinking while just going for this interview that the 2 times we spoke together, it was always with also the writer.
Yeah.
And so we didn't take the time to just focus on your work. So I just want to get maybe a little bit into that.
Sure.
What can you tell us about yourself, about how you grew up in regards to comic books? Is it do you have a lot of comic books in Poland or not?
Yeah, sure. I mean, nowadays we have most of the new books that are coming out in France, like, the bigger books, more successful books are immediately translated and published in Poland. There is a huge demand for comic books in Poland. And comics were always popular. Even in the communist era, Poland, they were more popular than after that, in fact. So there is a demand, and there are many books published. It doesn't translate too well for Polish authors because the market is very small. So I don't know how to explain you that, but it's not really efficient to be published in Poland, and it's not really a way to sustain
to make a living.
Yeah, something like that. But Polish people are used to this kind of thing. They have to go abroad and then they can go back and somehow it makes it work, The same goes for the books. It's mostly translated stuff from States and from France, especially.
And so what about you? Did you grow up reading comic books?
Yeah, sure. I was reading comics since I was a kid. I was obsessed with that. And the period, I was born in 1981. So at that time, the world was changing in Poland. 1989 is the Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
And so at that time, a lot of things started happening in Poland. There was a great magazine called Comics Fantastica. So it was like reprinted stuff from France. So there was like Marvano, The War Eternal, or Pelissa, the famous books from France, and Rourke by Andreas. So we got the taste of it, that the other world can exist somewhere, and you can do something like that. And I was always drawing, so I was obsessed by that. And yeah.
Do you know why you were obsessed?
Yeah, my father is a painter and my mother was studying literature, so I have to draw comics. There's no other way.
And so at what point did you know that you wanted to be a professional artist, and you knew also that you had to sell your work abroad to get a career?
I was never thinking about that because comics, like I told you, it's not so easy to make comics and live by making comics. So I was doing a lot of different things as well. I was doing a lot of work for games and stuff, illustrations and book covers and things like that. But I always kept drawing comics as well. And, then somewhere in 2012 or 2013, I started putting my art online, and comics publishers contacted me. And I was almost out, almost no hope for comics, but then they contacted me and I had to plunge into it again. You know what I mean? So it was weird.
And what would you say were your influences? I guess that you use paint today, so I guess you take that from your father. But what are there any other influences that you have?
Yeah, I was studying painting, in Academy of Fine Arts. So I was.
Okay, so you did fine arts, all right?
Yeah. So it was always interesting for me, and because of the respect for my father, he always had a lot of books at home, at the workshop. And my parents had a lot of French friends, so I had a stack of Spirou magazines when I was a kid, and it was my education as well, And so it went like that, and I incorporated parts of that and parts of this, and I guess I mixed it all together, and that's why, it's so weird, I guess.
So if I recall, maybe your first published work abroad was for the French market in 2015. There's a book. And then you switched to the American market. Is there any particular reason for that? Or is it just like because just American publishers contacted you? And
it was a wave. I was just writing a wave. Before the French book, I published a lot of books in Poland as well. There is a big festival of comics in Poland, in central Poland, in Łódź. And they used to have something very cool back in the 90s. It was like a contest, I guess you may call it, for a short comic. It was just a few pages. And every year people were sending the stuff, and there was a catalog. And so that was year by year, that was our place to go. And it was something very original when I look at it now, because short comics like that don't exist in a wide world, because it's, there's no purpose for the short comic, but there's so many cool things in that period of time in Poland in comics. I wish people could know that, because there are many authors and many cool pieces that I grew up on, people with very difficult names, like Truściński or Gawronkiewicz, or Gosieniecki.
Obviously, I don't know them.
Unpronounceable names, but cool stuff. So we were going each year with friends to that festival, and there was prizes and so on. So we got we got the passion going. And after that, because of that, I met Johan, who wrote the City of Dogs, Cité de Chiens, the comic book we did together. And we published it. I like the book, but it wasn't like a huge success. It was, I guess, was nice. Some people like it, but it was very silent for whatever reason. But after that, I was publishing a lot of things online, and Eric Herbern from Boom Studio contacted me to draw a book for them.
Okay. Do you take a lot of effect in the success or not of a book that you draw? Is it something that really matters to you? Like you said, the first book was like a silent one. Maybe the other were less silent. So does it matter to you?
If I said it doesn't matter, it's not honest, because of course it matters, because if you work on something for a year or two, you want people to know about it, So it's important, I guess, to some degree, of course, because, it's still comics. So let's not be, crazy, because it's only certain kind of people care about it. I mean, in France, it's more people, and you have different approach to that matter. But in States, it's completely different, and in Poland, it's completely different. So
and even in France, even if we are a country full of comics, we're not that many to actually read comic books in France.
It's a niche, I think. But each time you speak with someone who likes comics, they know that it's the best thing, the best experience to read a comic book. Like when you read a good comic book, the feeling is amazing, but it's only known to the people
the happy few.
The happy few, yeah.
Was it challenging to adjust to the schedules of the American publishing industry, or are you always like working really in advance so that you don't have to get by the deadlines every month?
no, it's not really possible to work in advance with Americans because they send you stuff and they expect next week 6 pages or something, so we have to just adjust. But in a way, there are good things about it, and the bad parts, because it teaches you to deliver the stuff. So it's a good thing, but sometimes you would like to have an extra time just to go one more time around it and maybe refine some things, or it's like that.
So I guess sometimes maybe you have to work also with the frustration of not having something perfectly finished. Like, it's all right, but you can't go back on it.
That's interesting that you say that. But I love this moment when I'm tired and when I draw very fast and very thick lines, because it's usually when you're trying to draw something very well, you never go to that place. But when you're under heavy deadline and you have to deliver the page, you can be in a hurry, and sometimes those pages are my favorite ones. Just drawn like McKeever style. You know what I mean? It's like,
but maybe just because it's a way of pushing yourself to just try to be the most efficient possible.
That's the point. Yeah,
and
you have to deliver, and you have to do the job, I guess.
How do you choose the different projects you draw?
The part of it is the books I have already done, so people more or less know who I am and what can I do. And each time I get a new book, it's more or less in the how do you say that? It's more or less the similar mood, or you know what I mean, like.
Yeah, you're not drawn to romance books, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's not my thing, but. More crazy, maybe dark leaning something, or I guess.
So it's just like at each point that you were contacted by someone, it was always with something that could appeal to you, that would work.
Later, I have drawn books that are not maybe like, for example, Origins. It was the book that I'm not sure if it's dark. It's not dark really. It's
no. Small sci-fi.
It's just a small sci-fi story, right? But I was able to focus on the textures and all the trees and stuff like that. So I guess the other side of the problem is I will find a way to draw what I like, even in a story that doesn't fit me.
Okay, so because you would say that, for example, that if someone wrote to you today to make Origins again, you might decline because it's not your thing.
I enjoyed the book a lot, but I'm just saying it's not like. You see, the thing is that if somebody would give me a romance story, like you said, I would probably make it look like Exorcist. So that's the other question.
But that's quite interesting also to really put your own touch on a genre that has been explored, because I would say that none of the books you've done look like something that has been done elsewhere. So that's quite also very interesting to just put your own artistic touch.
Thanks. You see, I'm trying to choose the. I hate the word style, but I guess that's the way to describe it. You know what I mean? To choose the style of drawing to the story. So when I decide on the way how I will draw the story, I'm trying to keep that way for the whole book. But the next book will look different, because part of it is just technique or something. But there is also I think the drawing itself creates the story. Like imagine Mignola stories drawn by someone else. It's a different story, right? Or like Ted McKeever, the way the drawings look are also a device to tell the story. That's my point, yeah.
And so can you tell us about the origins of When I Lay My Vengeance Upon Thee?
The origins are not so, it's not
from your point of view.
My point of view is just I received the script and I started drawing. So that's the origin. But
very, very short story, yeah.
Very short story. The Boom guys told me that they have a story by Gus Moreno. Gus Moreno is a writer.
Yeah.
He's not a comic book writer, so that's good indication for me that, it's always better for me to work with somebody who is not so deep into comics.
Okay.
But it's
why is that?
I guess it's more interesting. Maybe different perspective. They don't write the script like page 1, frame 1, and it's not so rigid.
Okay, so that's not what Gus did with you.
No.
Okay.
I mean, the script is a script, but it's not like very. You know what I mean? It's not strict,
Okay.
and I can sense that he has a different perspective also.
So what did it look like? It was like just page 1, and you had to do all the pacing.
I guess there is a lot of editing, so they work also with editors. So the script is a script, but it's what I mean. I guess is his influences. You know what I mean? Like, for example, Romuald's scripts don't look like anything I saw in my life. It's a book. It's just delivering a book with a weird diagram of how the story will go.
Okay.
So in America, I guess it's also different because they're used to work with editor, and the editor is the the guy between you and the writer. So I'm sending the work stuff to editor, and editor contacts the writer.
You like the warden of the book.
Yeah, like a gatekeeper. That's not the word to use.
The shepherd.
The shepherd, yeah, maybe.
But how do you like your scripts? Do you like the scripts very loose or very descriptive and very...
Descriptive scripts are very easy to work with. So, you receive the script and you can start working. And when you have like a storyboard, you can see the story and you can adjust. So it's very easy way to work. But for example, the script of Romuald is more challenging because I have to first, I wanted to use a word, but it's not I have to first navigate through the maze of the literature. Then I will draw but there is way more freedom in that kind of writing. But I guess it's only possible to do it with, the big part of it's people that you work with. So the team of 4 4 is Nicolas is very open. I guess you may call him the editor. And Romuald is the guys, they just want to be surprised. So for me, it's also a challenge because I want to deliver good work. So you know what I mean.
Okay.
It's confusing, but sorry.
No, it's not.
Long
it's
explanation.
No, it's not. It's not. No, but and the people who listen to this podcast know a little bit about the industry and the way of working. So I don't think they are confused. But I wanted to know on this project. So did Gus send you the script for the 5 issues directly, or was it just like a pitch? Yeah, issue by issue. So I get that the first steps in your work is to design characters, maybe, or just have like a mood board and just try to set the mood for the environment. So how do you work that?
It was exactly like that. In the big end of the book,
yes,
Nicolas included some of the sketches. So I drew this book shortly after working on H.P. Lovecraft with Nicolas and Romuald. So I was in that place, like more painterly, and I wanted to go that direction. But you cannot do that with monthly book, I guess you can call it, because there is, faster tempo.
Yeah.
So I had to develop the technique to just repeatedly deliver the drawings, And then I started to go somewhere here with the black ink traditional drawing, and
Because it seems to me that you're also using paint in this book for backgrounds. Mostly we can, and we can feel
the colors are mostly
the colors also.
Colors are mostly done in Photoshop, but there is a
that's paint, right?
Yeah,
or
it's
not?
paint, but it's it's scan paint. It's not painted on the board. It's photoshopped colors. It's mostly Photoshop colors, But I'm dying if I'm not using real tools. I have to just feel the paper and paint, because otherwise digital media is killing me, which is weird because I use it a lot, but you know what I mean.
And so this is a horror story, basically?
It's a horror story. Yeah, it's about two priests having some investigation.
Yeah, it's a mystery horror.
Demonic, yeah. There are some, I felt, I will show you the exact page because it's always the beginning so difficult because you have to catch the tempo.
Yeah.
But then I started watching Star Trek somewhere in between, the Next Generation,
Okay.
And I know how it sounds. Sorry, but
no, I'm not following you at all because I don't see where Star Trek fits. Yeah,
I started watching episodes of Star Trek while drawing the book, and it gave me the continuation. So I was watching the Picard adventures and drawing the same time because Star Trek you can listen to that because everybody knows that. So it gave me like every day 4 episodes and a page forward, and I was since that page I was just
the page with the horse. Yeah,
it's the page with the horse, and I was I had a really nice time with the book since that page.
I was wondering if you if you are a fan of horror movies or horror stories, and especially like exorcism stories.
I wouldn't say particularly. My wife loves horror stories, more than me. I like the dark stuff, sure, but exorcist, I guess like everyone, I suppose.
So you did not go into research for this book?
I don't have to research the dark stuff, it's somehow it's
in your guts.
Encoded in my soul, I like this kind of stuff, period. I always gravitated towards the occult stuff to draw or the darker part, like Otto Dix or somebody like that, German expressionism stuff, I guess.
And so there is one thing quite particular with horror and comic books. It's quite hard to frighten someone with just drawing. So how do you try to do that?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because I guess if you draw too much, it's a problem. If you draw not enough, it's a problem. I'm not sure, man. It's hard to say. I guess the thing that is terrifying is the general mood. It's something that appears when you read a story. When you read I'm a huge fan of Andreas the Rourke stories, because I was a kid when I was reading that, and I always remember the mood of the story. Something that comes from it's undescribable, in fact, and it's the best thing when you are reading a story and this weird thing appears. So, and it's not thanks to one thing. I guess it's colors, it's the story, it's the way it's drawn. It's the conglomerate of all those things, I guess. Yeah.
And there also the importance of the color. You already told me in the previous interview that you really that was the most important stuff to you, the color, because it really helps to set the mood, to set the tone, set the ambience. And I was wondering, how do you find the right color palette for a project like that? Like
for this project, you will not like the answer, but I can tell you an honest answer.
Please tell me the answer.
You see, there is a lot of this purple thing.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time with Romuald, and Romuald has the bag that has this kind of color. And I was thinking, because this is the color that you never think about. It's the color of Vatican, the heads in Vatican. And somehow it fits the book perfectly because it's about, this Christianity thing, and the color connects it perfectly. So as a joke, I said to Romuald that he inspired me to make the colors in it. But yeah, I needed that. It's all over the book. You can see that.
Even in the fabrication of the book. But that's an answer I like. It's interesting to see that it's just the bag of the co-writer.
You see, we spent a lot of time, and then I came back home and I started drawing, and subconsciously I started using this color. So and it fits. So I guess that's the way.
And there are quite like very graphic scenes in this book also.
Oh, yeah.
So is it hard to really show horrible stuff? I'm thinking about what's inside the guts of a horse. There's also a very chimeric creature.
Let me ask you the question. You like this stuff in comic? Or
I do love this stuff in comics.
Yeah, I'm always wondering what people think about that, because I grew up on comics from the 90s and they were full of violence, if you remember. I mean, it was always cool for me because it's nice in a drawing or in a movie, right? Like Tarantino movies, you have a lot of violence that is pretty graphic. But for some people, it can be also like not shocking, but not enjoyable, I guess. So I know it's always fun to draw, that's for sure.
Yeah, and do you pay attention to what the people might feel? I mean,
always wonder about what people
are
feel.
You aiming also to maybe disgust people? With a very crude imagery.
That was not my intention, but I guess.
But you could aim for that because it's a horror story, so it's got to upset the readers at some point.
Yeah, I guess you're right. No, I wasn't thinking about that. Before that, I did a book with Sztybor, the Polish writer, about cyberpunk, the short series for Dark Horse, and it was very vulgar and very violent story. So, and it's enjoyable to draw those things, but the question is, it's always the same. What do you think about those things? And I only know my side, so when I'm drawing it, it's fun, and when you draw guts, but then I'm not really able to read the things that I draw because it's impossible, so I just have to ask other people.
And there's also the more maybe a psychological violence in this book because both the fathers do quite horrible things. Father Barra, you open the book and he's accidentally but killing a baby. Yeah. And when you discover what the other is doing to a young person also, it's quite horrifying. Also, are you sometimes maybe yourself upset by what the characters that you draw are doing?
Yeah, while working on a book, you're really with the characters. So, I guess that's the answer to your question. That's the real horror ingredient, the story, everyone in this book is pretty horrible. In fact, it's the best horror stories, are always when you have a place that you cannot escape, right? Like an island or a hotel near the mountain, and it's closed. So the thing in that book is there is no one is good, in fact. So I guess that's the thing.
And what do you think about the ending?
It was too fast for me, I think.
Too fast?
Yeah, that was my impression, but I don't know. Because when you draw, you have but it's also I guess it's the rhythm of the story, but it's also the number of pages and issues for State. So I guess it could be a bit longer, maybe one more issue or something. I thought it cuts abruptly, maybe, or something, but.
But I was also thinking because we're not spoiling anything, but it ends quite badly for everyone, even for Father Barra. It's
no happy ending.
Yeah, it's not a happy ending. Do you like the stories that end in a very dark place?
If you would know something about Polish cinema, there is never a happy answer. I wasn't even wondering about that.
Because it's just normal to you.
Yeah, it's normal ending. Everyone is sad or dead.
All right. Okay.
So everyone is crying.
What can you tell us about just the near future? How you are you working on something that you can tease us a little bit?
I can tease you, but I'm not sure if I can tell you too much. I'm working on a book with Romuald, and I have the script ready, and it's very thick. And I'm right now in the stage of trying to find the visual language for the book, doing some sketches, trying to find the color palette. As I told you before, it's always I need to catch the color first, and then I don't know where I will go. But it's a very epic world, so I guess there will be a lot of a lot of cool stuff to draw. A lot of trees.
A lot of trees.
Yeah.
And I guess that when you're just looking for this kind of palette and stuff like that, like, do you decide when the palette is good, or do you ask also for your co-artist or your co-writer?
No, when we did the Lovecraft story, we didn't discuss it, since a lot of pages were already done. So I sent Nicolas some stuff, and he said, "Oh," so we just went with it. But for whatever reason, the red seemed a good choice. So I'll see. I don't know. It's always weird, If for whatever reason, blue was okay for Judas, and I don't really know why. Maybe there is something that you can. Feelings are also important,
You just can't explain in a rational way.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, we'll be looking forward to the next project.
Yeah, thank you so much.
When it will be done. Thank you so much for your time, Jakub.
Thank you for your time. It was nice talking to you.